There are two interesting updates on the AI chip market. First of all, everyone is talking about the recent progress in Chinese AI chip development, with the recent photonic chip and their new AI GPUs. And as always, with my background in chip design, I'm interested purely in the technological side of this story. So we know that before the US restrictions, NVIDIA's share of the Chinese AI chip market was over 90%. But now many Chinese companies are working on developing AI chips locally. And one of the biggest players is Huawei, who is about to start shipping their new AI chips. Till now, the most competitive AI GPU designed in China was Huawei's Ascend 910B chip. Based on the official specs, it falls between NVIDIA A100 and H20 GPU. It's actually more powerful than NVIDIA's H20 GPU, which is the best NVIDIA chip on Chinese market at the moment, and closer to the performance of NVIDIA's A100 GPU. But the thing is, we know how much they've really struggled with chip defects. Based on the media reports from the Chinese media that I found, they're facing really bad yields. They write that 4 out of 5 chips have defects, and those are really terrible numbers. In chip manufacturing, yield refers to the proportion of the functional chips compared to the total number of the chips on the wafer. And we love high yields because high yield indicates that there is a high number of defect-free and fully functional chips, while low yield indicates that many chips are defective, like in case of Huawei chips manufactured by SMIC. Now, Huawei is about to start shipping their new 910C GPUs, and the demand for it on the Chinese market is huge. But I assume that with this new redesign, they will be first targeting to fix the yield problem, and only then focusing on boosting the performance. But improving manufacturing yield is honestly a rocket science. It's a very complex matter. Of course, a huge part of the Huawei's problems with the GPU comes from SMIC struggling with their 7nm manufacturing process, because it's a huge challenge to manufacture 7nm chips without EUV machines. So SMIC is trying to push DUV machines to the limit, and as a workaround, they're using so-called multi-patterning technique. And this involves several layers of masking and several wafer exposures to print just a single transistor feature. And that's quite a hassle. And of course, it's error-prone. I've explained how it works in the details in this video. Consider subscribing to the channel right now to stay up to date with the most important trends in technology. Thank you very much. What's so interesting? This is not purely about the manufacturing process. You can actually improve the yield from the design perspective. You can actually take the same design and redesign it using more relaxed layout design rules, so-called DRC rules, or using a different set of design libraries. And I think they're gonna try to do that with this design because they've already done it with their current chip, and at the end it worked out very well. Let me know what you think in the comments. So there is a lot of demand for this chip. Based on the numbers that I found, I think more than 100,000 chips have already been ordered. And fulfilling this demand, it will be a huge problem, huge challenge for both SMIC and Huawei. I think with lots of effort, they will eventually be able to stabilize the production process. However, the future generation of AI chips, those that go below 5 nanometers, will definitely require lots of innovations on the equipment and process control side as well. This will take billions of dollars of investments in the chip industry, which are already taking place, and also a decade of time or so to make it happen. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. NVIDIA is also struggling with producing high volumes of their new Blackwell GPU, and this impacts their targets, revenue, and stock, of course. But in their case, that's the design and packaging that are the main issues. If you want me to make a video on why TSMC is struggling to fabricate this particular GPU, let me know in the comments. Now, the second exciting news I have to share with you has to do with a startup called Ampere Computing. They're seen in the media as a kind of dark horse, but are they really? If you never heard of them, it's a US-based startup that's focusing on chips for the cloud market, and they're going all in on ARM architecture. And we saw how ARM has been conquering the chip market for a while while now. Qualcomm, Apple, and Samsung chips are all ARM chips. And I also have it in my investment portfolio, and it has been a runaway success. I think this startup is particularly interesting, but a bit of a history first. It was founded by Renee James, an ex-president of Intel, and back in 2017, she had a vision of ARM expanding into the server and enterprise markets. And this is the first interesting thing, because back then there were high hopes for ARM chips to be used into the servers. And there are many startups popping up and then eventually failing or pivoting. And even Qualcomm tried to do that, but it didn't work out. But Ampere has survived till the present day, and they've got some very premier customers like Google, Amazon, Oracle, Alibaba, and now Qualcomm. Until now, they've already shipped many hundreds of thousands CPUs to these customers. They build cloud-native chips with a strong focus on energy efficiency. And they've recently announced their new Ampere 1 chip, 256-core chip, but the main idea behind this multi-core design that they can achieve higher performance by having higher number of smaller cores compared to the Intel and AMD CPUs. And if we look at the reported benchmarks, they claim 50% higher performance per watt compared to AMD's EPYC Genoa GPU and up to 15% higher than Bergamo. What's interesting, Ampere is building off-the-shelf chips. What means off-the-shelf chips? That any cloud provider can just buy their CPUs and it's like plug and play and it's compatible. And when we talk about cloud and also data centers, what is the most important is performance, scalability, and power efficiency. So this is a market Ampere is targeting. Clearly, their main competitors are Intel and AMD chips. Intel has their Sierra Forest and Clearwater Forest chips coming soon. AMD has Bergamo CPUs. However, Ampere reports a clear advantage in performance per watt. Now to the most interesting part. So we see that many of the initial Ampere clients are now going vertical. So they are building the complete stack. They are designing their own chips. And we see this as an overall trend across the industry. What's funny that I noticed that this trend is sort of cyclic. So most companies go through this cycle. First, they integrate everything vertically, and then the wind change. It can happen in many years, of course, and they start disintegrated. For example, Philips. First, it spin off its lithography business to what we know today as ASML, who are doing the most advanced EUV lithography machines, and the most advanced semiconductor fabs like TSMC can't survive without these machines. They are essential for continuation of the Moore's law. And then they spun off NXP. So NXP is actually a former semiconductor business operated by Philips. So they were very vertically integrated, and now they are sort of back to making coffee machines. And what's interesting, the mothership Philips is now worth 13 times less than ASML. And so now the most of the companies are in this phase of integration. Amazon has been building their own chips for quite a while now. Microsoft and Google are also building their own chips. Nvidia has their Grace CPU. The problem for Ampere is that many of their original customers are now building their own chips. And that's not the best situation to be in. So Ampere chips have to be either orders of magnitude better or much cheaper, and this is not easy to achieve. At the moment, their main customers are Oracle and Qualcomm. And they've just announced a collaboration with Qualcomm to pair their CPU with Qualcomm Cloud Accelerator, and those will be used in Supermicro servers for AI inference. And this is big. It will be very exciting to watch how this story will unfold. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really hope they can make it to work because I'm really fond of their mission building power efficient chips. Because now we must strive for efficiency as never before. The power consumption in data centers is a really huge problem. It's estimated that by 2030, they could comprise around 10% of the total US electricity output. And data center CO2 emissions could more than double. And this, of course, is driven by power-hungry AI workloads. These numbers are really worrying. But it will lift your spirit if you see what my friends at Planet Wild are accomplishing. And I know this collaboration is a bit unusual unusual for this channel, but I really support their mission. Planet Wild is a community of people who care deeply about the planet, and they are already taking practical actions now. I've joined them this year, and I've been really impressed by their work. Each month they go on different missions, including forest restoration, cleaning up oceans, and protecting endangered species like the European lynx, owls, and blue whales. All these projects are supported by a membership model by people like you and me. And the best part is that you can already see your impact, the impact you're making in the first 30 days. I was especially impressed by their mission to save blue whales that are threatened with extinction, and no one knows why they are disappearing. Planet Wild is using technology like drones to collect data and understand what's happening to help the whale population to recover. What I really appreciate about Planet Wild is their transparency. They document every mission on their YouTube channel as well as in their app, so we can see the direct impact of our contributions. And watching this makes me so happy. To understand what I mean, check out their recent mission with owls. Join us to help make the Earth a better place. And there is no set price, so any contribution helps. You can start with as little as $6. Just scan the QR code here or join through the link below. The first 200 people who will join using my code Anastasia8 will get the first month subscription for free. You can also watch their whale mission, I will link it here, and the owl mission, I will also link it somewhere here. Check it out and let's restore the planet together. Thank you very much. Ciao.